few months back, watching the Discovery Channel, they had a program on Jesus and his preaching through parables. And one of the things that the archaeologist that was leading the program was commenting on was how Jesus related real-life experiences of the people to what he had to say to them. And outside of Galilee, they were excavating a farm, and they found a tract of land with a stone fence built up around it. They found the remains of a wine press and the foundation stones of a tower, directly relating to what we heard today. And so Jesus talks to the people of their experiences and how that relates to their relationship with God. And each one of us is planted in a different situation. This morning at the nursing home, I talked to them about how they've been taken out of the world and put into this place where they have to adjust to that way of living. But you and I, no matter where we find ourselves, at home, in our workplace, out in the community, on the playground, in playing sports, in the working world, we are planted in those situations to bear some sort of fruit. Not just to go to work and come home. Not just to live life, but that something is expected of us by our God. And we heard that clearly today, that those workers that don't produce the fruit are set aside. And the gifts of the kingdom are given to those that take up the work and do that work and produce the fruit and deliver it back to God. I grew up in a church where the priests and the nuns did all the work. We were supposed to pay, pray, and obey. But that's not what Christ is telling us. And that is perhaps what's gone wrong with Christianity, because so many people think that they can come into a church building, throw something into the collection plate, walk out the door, and don't have any other responsibilities until they come back the next Sunday and repeat the cycle. It's not what was intended. There are so many situations that if we would put a Christian, loving Christian attitude toward them, we can work to solve those problems. Because you and I, as servants of the Lord, are here to try to convert the world in the name of Jesus into this place where we all have true love and concern for each other. On this feast of the Holy Guardian Angels, that's the formal title of this feast day, we celebrate our patrons. And we acknowledge that while most of the world out there is in love with angels and thinks that when we die we become angels, it's not the case. Angels are creatures that are created to serve God and humanity. They're set over to bring messages to us, to guard us, to heal us. They have particular functions. And so how does that apply to us as members of holy angels? In that sense, we are angels. As members of this parish, we have responsibilities to each other and to the larger community to guard, to teach, to bring messages from the Lord that He loves us, to reach out healing hands. That's the work this parish is set about to do. We've been doing it now for 5 years. And it is, again, not a situation where you pray, and obey, but that you actually lift up and shoulder the work of the community. Not a church, a community. In that way, we at Holy Angels become part of that community, of that agricultural community that we hear about in that gospel today, that is rewarded by the Lord when he calls us to the harvest and we bring him the fruit of our labors. May you bring basketful of fruitful labor to the Lord, and may you be rewarded with vision of his loving grace forever.